Yeah, welcome back to DXB Today, where today's theme is, well, all things entrepreneurial spirit. We're asking the question, is this the best city in the world to set up a business these days? A platform, initiative or otherwise? And we're taking expert advice from a number of organisations and individuals. Our next guests have created a community of mothers supporting, well, mothers. Please welcome the co-founders of Crunchmoms. We've got Julie Nguyen and we've got Liying Tay joining us live here in studio. Thank you so much indeed for both being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Liying, let's start with you if we can. Crunchmoms. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Why?
So Crunchmoms really started from my own personal experience. I've always been in a tech startup world. There was always go, go, go culture, and then you become a mom. What happens, right? So I really wanted to create a community that supported the working mom identity, to really give them a safe space, a community, and also really help all these ambitious women continue doing what they want to do while being present at home with the kids. Yeah.
Do you think it's more challenging in a city like Dubai? Yeah, we've been talking with Darish about that sort of get up and go. It's the visa-only mentality. You come here to work, you work hard, you play hard. Is it more difficult for mums specifically as well to get the balance right, especially if you want to continue in the corporate world?
I feel like it's very different for everybody, right? So I think what is difficult is really your also mindset. I feel like Dubai has a lot of resources around that mothers and families can leverage on. I think it's really up to us to find the community, to really learn from each other, to see what works, and have a setup at home that will help you thrive as a mom, a working mom, or just, you know, someone that wants to start their own business. Yeah.
I think this is definitely the best place, because if you look at everything that's been given to you and the opportunities that you have here, having help is a big one, right? To be able to have full-time help so that you can focus on work, I think that's super important. I think to have the resources that you have here, I mean, Dubai has so many opportunities. And honestly, when we look at all of the women in our community, they've gone from 0 to 100 literally within a week. I'm just like, what? You did that within 1 week? And so there's definitely hunger and thirst to get things done here. I think being in Dubai, it's like being in a big city, but also a small town. You gotta ring someone up, you gotta call someone's there to help you. And I feel like in other cities, it might take a little bit longer. And then I think nothing's easy when you have to manage family, homes, and all kinds of other responsibilities. But somehow Dubai has given a lot of women this platform that honestly, in Singapore, in the US, in Europe, we haven't seen it before.
But so, like, you know, with motherhood, there's several stages that women go through, from the infancy when the child is more demanding, at the same time you have the work, and then when they grow up older and they have to go to schools, and then you teach them as well after work. So how does Crunchmoms help these mothers who are struggling with juggling not only their businesses, but also with their children at different stages of their lives?
Yeah, I would say that's precisely what Crunchmoms is. We're a private women's network that supports at every stage of career, motherhood, and life. So you will be part of this network and meet women with teenagers, and they will help those women that have young babies being like, oh, don't worry, enjoy this stage, and vice versa. Then you have the women that are empty nesters saying, hey, I'm ready to like put my time into something. And then the women with like young kids, they're the ones thinking, oh, how am I going to manage this chaos that I have right now? So I think that women-to-women support is definitely there. And we also offer lots of parenting coaches that can support at the different ages, which goes a really long way, while also speaking to the women. They speak to each other about the parenting, and then like within a minute, they'll flip over and be like, so which business tools are you using again? So it's nice to see that conversation across different stages of life and business.
Darish, does this ring true with you?
Absolutely. I'd love to know when you started, what's the momentum be like? What kind of values do we bring to the mums?
Yeah, so basically it started off with just inviting women over coffee and a few women joining, and over time it just became 1 woman, 30 women, 50 women, and within the platform there's 5,000 plus women. I think our Instagram, I think a lot of women relate to it. It took a few years to get to 10,000 followers, and then it like tripled within a week. I think it's women just feel warm. They feel like it's a very authentic group. There's a lot of support, and I think that community feel is that village that women don't have here as expats, but they do at Crunchmoms, because that woman is going to help you, give you advice, support you around the kids with business. So it feels like a village in an expat area.
Yeah, and it's also really about normalizing motherhood. You know, it's also normalizing about what it means to be a working mom, a working woman of today, right? So as ambitious women, we want to do so many things for ourselves, but also want to be present for our family. So with Crunchmoms, that's where we bring together women to learn from one another, to see what works for them so that we can learn from them as well. So it's really creating that momentum, you know, and really creating this movement of, you know, really owning your identity as a mom at home and also a working mom at work. And how do we really help everyone sort of level up the playing field to give them the right resources and also the right kind of mentorship that they need to really stay in the workforce, right? So it's about, you know, getting them in a room where they can learn from very successful business owners to really help them, you know, level up their businesses, right? It's also about bringing them into a boardroom to really meet senior women to help them, you know, keep them active in the workforce and also get into roles of leadership, right? So it's all about keeping that woman in mind across different stages, motherhood, career, and really just learning from each other. Yeah.
Mama Rash?
Yeah.
Liying, you mentioned,
Yeah.
you mentioned a little bit. It's completely true. Never been called that live on the show.
keep that one in.
You spoke about leveling up,
Yes.
and do you think sometimes we as women, we are in a place of disadvantage because there's so much we need to consider before starting a family? And even if you look at statistics, women are having kids much later in life when, you know, it can take a toll on their health because as a career-driven, ambitious woman, if you also want to start a family at the same time, there's a lot to choose from. And if you do have a successful career going on, you know, having that conversation, you know, having to be gone for 2 months and know that there are other people eyeing for your position. There's so much going on. And do you feel like we are in a position of a little bit of a disadvantage?
I don't know if disadvantage is the word that I will use, because based on all the events that we've had and all the discussions that we've had at Crunchmoms, it's really about, you know, being very open and asking for the right help at, you know, a given stage of your career or being a mom, right? So how do we learn from people who have done it so that we won't be at a disadvantage, but then be more aware to ask for the kind of help we need before we try to level up?
I think for me, when I first became a mother and I went back to work after maternity leave, I definitely felt there was initially a disadvantage. I was just like, I never felt like lower as a female. And then when I had the kid, I was like, okay, I need help with this. I need a room for feeding. I need this. I need to like kind of head home, but then I'm gonna be online. And so I think it depends on the environment and the culture of an organization. I think with corporates, if they have the support that they need and they feel like they have the right managers in training that are giving women the support, these women are going to be like going back and being like, I'm going to dedicate everything to this place because they had my back during this very crazy, stressful time. And that's where you find a lot of loyal women that are going back to work. So I think it really depends if they're in a great environment, good culture in a corporate world, which is why people are more loyal and it feels like an advantage. But that's often why women leave corporate is because they didn't feel like they had a voice, they didn't have that track, and so then they explore other opportunities like entrepreneurship, which is another way to generate income.
And this is why Crunchmoms is so important. So thank you so much, Julie and Liying, for being on the show with us and telling us more about this beautiful community made for mothers, by mothers in Dubai.